Okay, everyone. So in section 4D, we're going to talk about loan payments, credit cards, and mortgages. We'll talk a little bit less about mortgages and focus a little bit more on loan payments, credit cards, and even a car loan. So some of the basics that we're going to learn in this section or we're going to work with is the principal is the amount of money owed at any particular time. We already know that. And an installment loan or amortized loan, I can't pronounce that word for some reason, is a loan that is paid off with equal regular payments. So if you own a car, you notice you have those kind of payments. The loan term is the time you have to pay back the loan in full. Okay. So this will be the formula we're going to use in this section, loan payment formula, installment of loans. So if you have a graphing calculator, this will be a little bit easier. If you don't, you're probably going to want to solve it, or I should say not solve it, but use it in this manner. You're probably going to want to find out this first, have that there, then divide, and then find this out and have that there. Then divide these two things, just to kind of make it a little bit easier on you. If you have a graphing calculator, it should be pretty straightforward on how you enter everything in. So PMT is regular payment amount. So whenever you see PMT in our formula, that means the regular payment amount. So what we're trying to find out is how much our monthly payment's going to be. The starting loan principal or the amount borrowed, or I guess it may be the amount invested, but for us, it's going to be the amount borrowed. APR is annual percentage rate. We kind of know that as rate. The number of payment periods per year. So normally N in our previous section was the number of times it was compounded per year. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use N to represent the number of times or the number of payments per year. Okay. And then Y is the loan term in years. Sometimes we can use T as well. I use T often. So if I accidentally write T, it's the same thing, just because I'm so used to it. Okay, so principal and interest loans for installment loans. The portions of installment loan payments going toward principal and toward interest vary as the loan is paid down. So basically, what this is meaning is if any of you have owned a car or bought a car, or also with houses, it seems like in the beginning you're paying this money, but it's not making a dent in your principal. And that's normally like with a car loan. If you do like a 6-year loan, it's normally like after the third year you finally start making a dent in the principal, and that's when what you owe on your car is normally what it's worth. If you have a good interest rate, normally after 3 years what you owe on the loan is probably what your car is worth if you were going to try to trade it in, unless it's like a luxury car. A lot of times BMW, Mercedes, and those cars, they lose a lot of value because they're constantly being leased, so there's a big supply in the market. But that's an economics class, business class. We're not going to get into that. So it says early in the loan term, the portion going towards interest is relatively high and the portion going toward principal is relatively low. As the term proceeds, the portion going towards interest gradually decreases and the portion going toward principal gradually increases. So that's why when you get closer to the end of the loan, more money is paying off the principal and less is paying the interest any longer. Okay, so let's look at a student loan. Okay, so suppose you have a student loan totaling $7,500 when you graduate from college. The interest rate is 9% and the loan term is 10 years. They want to know what are your monthly payments, how much will you pay over the lifetime of the loan, and what is the total interest you pay on the loan. Okay, so let's look at this for a second here. So we're going to use our formula. We use our loan payment calculator. So it's going to tell us every month how much we're going to pay. So let's write this out. Okay, so we're going to have what, 7,500, that's the principal, right? Times the interest rate, APR, which is 0.09. Remember, you have to convert it to a decimal, divided by the number of payments. Well, there's 12 payments in a year, right? So we're going to pay it like that. And then we're going to do 1 minus, and now 1 plus our APR, which is 0.09 divided by 12. Okay, so this formula should look somewhat familiar. This formula is our compound interest formula. Okay, so 1 plus 0.09 divided by 12 to the power of negative 12 times 10. Okay, so notice in the formula up here, there is a negative in front. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And when you're using your calculator, you use the negative symbol. You do not use the minus sign. Okay, you definitely have to use the negative symbol. Okay, so let's see what we got over here. So let me see. We have a little room. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my calculator. Okay, and I'm going to do Let's do this. Let's take out my calculator, and I'm going to do the numerator first. So the numerator is going to be 7,500 times, what was it, 9 out of 12? Parentheses 0.09 divided by 12. I think that was correct. So we get 5625. So let's write that. And again, I'm doing this, you know, maybe I should write it over here. So this will be 56.25 divided by, now let's find out the denominator. So I'm going to do, let's do 1 minus parentheses, and then it's going to be 1 plus 0.09 divided by 12, close parentheses, to the power of negative 12 times 10, I believe. How much was it? 10 years? Negative 12 times 10. Yep. So our denominator is 0.59206. I'm going to write all of those. 0.59, just because I don't want to round off till the end. 206. And technically this is rounding off, but hopefully this won't affect dollar amount. 206.2695. Okay. Okay, so now I just take out my calculator and I'm going to do 56.25 divided by, and then if you just click second function answer, it takes this previous problem right here and it puts it there. So I get 95.006. So if we round to the nearest penny, we would get 95.01. So that means that every month, and remember what we found is our monthly payment. So our monthly payment would be $95.01. Okay. So that's how much our monthly payment would be. Okay. But they asked us for more than that. So they said, what are your monthly payments? How much will you pay for the lifetime of your loan? So now think about this. Your monthly payments is 95, but over 10 years, how much is this going to be? So over 10 years, how much am I paying? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 10 years times 12, right? Because I have to cancel, you know what, let me do it like this. Now we need, we know that right now we're paying $95 per 1 month, right? 95.01 per 1 month. So we need something that's going to cancel years in the denominator. So I'm just going to put years here because I know I need to cancel it. And I know I need to cancel months. So I need something that can be a relationship between months and year. Well, I know that there are 12 months in 1 year. Okay. So that is my unit measurement right there. That's my unit ratio. So if I do this, I now can cancel years with years. I can cancel months with months. And now I'm just left with dollars. Okay. So now let's take this out on our calculator. So we're going to do 10 times 12. Oops, 10 times 12. Sorry, you guys, I'm going to use my home calculator, not the one on the screen, because you guys can do this multiplication. Times 95.01. And I get 11401.20. So I pay $11,401 for a $7,500 loan. So now just think about that real quick. You borrowed $7,500 and you have to pay back $11,401. Okay. So how much interest did we pay off? Well, all I have to do is I have to do total loan amount, which means if you want to think about this, well, how about this? Total paid minus principal. Right, so we have the principal. and that should equal the interest, right? So we're going to see how much they made off of us just in interest. And the principal was 7,500. And we end up getting, if we round off, let me get my calculator out. So we're going to do 11,401.2 minus 7,500. So we get 3901.20. But in reality, it's $3,900. So they made $3,900 off of us in just interest, just for loaning us the money. They made almost $4,000. So if you think about it, that's more than half. So not only do we have to pay them back the 7,500, but they almost made half of the extra back. Now, again, that's just the way things work sometimes. Just knowing the math doesn't always help, because I know, that's how the math works on a house, and yet I still need to borrow the money. So just because I know the math is not in my favor, sometimes we still have to do it. Okay. So let's move on. Okay. So there is computer software, and I even think Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. I think there's some kind of loan payment calculator built into the software. You just have to YouTube it. I made myself like a car payment calculator based on that, just to kind of see when I was shopping for a car what my payments would be, because I didn't trust what they said. So I just YouTubed it and looked how to do it on Microsoft Excel spreadsheet or workbook. And you guys can try to mess with it a little too if you want to watch a YouTube video. So you can kind of see how much your payment's going to be when you go in to buy a car. So here they're just trying to show you that idea that, look here, the first month you're still paying $56.25, right? However, payment towards a principal in the first month is $38.76, but then in the next month it goes up just a little, and then in the next month it goes up just a little, about 29 cents, right? So it's increasing. Now it's very slowly. Once again, it's increasing how much that you're paying towards the principal, even though it's a very little amount right now. Towards the end, maybe it'll be more, or if it was a larger loan, it would be more noticeable. Okay. So credit cards differ from installment loans in that you are not required to pay off your balance in any set period of time. So a minimum monthly payment is required. Monthly payments generally cover all the interest, but very little principal. And it takes a very long time to pay off a credit card loan if only the minimum payments are made. So this is something to just kind of keep in mind, is sometimes if, let's say you borrowed or you owe like $10,000 on a credit card, your monthly payment might be $400 or $500, but that's probably just the interest to pay it off. So let's say you pay $500 on your credit card on a $10,000 credit card loan, but let's say the interest was $475. That means that you only paid off $25 of your $10,000, and you gave them $500 to do it. So credit cards are really dangerous. If you don't keep track of your money very well, you really have to do it. Otherwise, they're just making money off of you, and you're not actually showing anything for it because you're not making a dent in your principal that you borrowed. Okay. So let's look at a problem. Suppose you have a credit card balance of $2,300 with an annual interest rate of 21. And again, this might sound crazy, but that is a common interest rate for credit cards. If you have any type of bad credit and then you try to get a new credit card, they're going to charge you 21, maybe more. So you really, if you have a credit card like this, you really want to keep your balance low. You decide to pay off your balance over 1 year. How much will you need to pay each month? Assume you will make no further credit card purchases. Okay, so let's take a look at this. We're going to use our formula, PMT. Once again, that's our monthly payments, right? And we're going to do 2,300 is how much we owe. We're going to multiply it by the interest rate, 0.21, divided by 12 monthly payments in a year, right? And then we're going to divide this by 1 minus, and I'm just using this formula from above, 1 plus 0.21 divided by 12. And then this will be negative 12 times 1. So this will just be negative 12, right? Oops. Did I mess that up when I wrote that over here? Hold on. Yeah, this was supposed to be an extra parenthesis right there. Sorry about that. Okay, so we have this formula to do. So let me break out my calculator. So I'm going to try to do the whole thing on my calculator, okay, and just see if I can get it to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do parentheses 2300 times parentheses 0.21 divided by 12, close parentheses. Then I want to close the other parentheses. So that's the whole numerator, divided by open parentheses 1 minus parentheses 1 plus 0.21 divided by 12. And this time I don't actually need parentheses around that because of PEMDAS, to the power of negative 12. Bring this down, close parentheses, and I think we're good. And I get $214.16. So I get $214.16 if I round off. And normally when you're dealing with money, you round to 2 decimal places because of money. So that means we have to pay $214.16 per month in order to pay this card off in a year, right? So we have to pay this amount, $214.16 every month for a year in order to pay our $2,300. Okay, so that's not so bad. It's a lot of money, but at least you're paying it off quickly, so they're not getting as much interest. Now you could, go the other route and pay like the minimum payment, which on $2,300 is probably like $100 or $85. So if you only paid $85 a month, you could then go. We don't, we don't have logarithms or anything because we would have to go back and figure out how long it would take us to solve for that. But that would be an interesting problem if you had me for pre-calc or for another class. Okay, so home mortgages, a home mortgage is an installment loan designed specifically to finance a home. The down payment, so a lot of you often hear the words mortgage. They're just talking about a loan. The down payment is the amount of money you must pay upfront in order to be given a mortgage or another loan. Okay, so a lot of times it's 3.5%. If you don't want to pay private mortgage insurance, you have to pay about 20% down. So if you want to buy a $500,000 house and you want to put down 20%, that's $100,000 you have to come up with in order to not have to pay private mortgage insurance, which is normally, anywhere between $200 to $400, depending on the loan amount, within reason. Closing costs are fees you must pay in order to be given the loan. So at the end of the loan, before the deal closes, they want you to give them money. These are something called closing costs, which pay for escrow fees and documentation fees and title transfer fees and all these things. You have to come up with all this money. So the appraisal is normally about $500. This is normally about $500, maybe $400, depending if you get a deal. Credit check is normally free, but they might roll that into more of the loan fees. Everybody gets paid, basically. Somebody's going to find a way to get some money. Fees charged as points, where each point is 1% of the loan amount, origination fee, discount points. So sometimes they'll tell you they're going to give you this amazing rate, but in reality, you have to give them money to buy your interest rate down. So you might have to give them, like $5,000 to buy the interest rate down to 1 point lower or 1.5 points or something like that. Okay, fixed rate mortgage is one in which interest rate is guaranteed not to change over the life of the loan. And an adjustable rate mortgage is one where the interest rate changes based on the prevailing rate. So this is called an ARM. Oftentimes they call this an ARM. So you'll oftentimes hear, on TV, people will talk about ARMs for loans and stuff. It means it's adjustable, so it's not always the same. Fixed rate mortgage is the safer one because when you set up your loan, if you do a 30-year loan, that's what your interest rate is always going to be unless you refinance. So fixed rate mortgages are normally what people consider safer, and the ARM is normally done on a smaller loan amount, like if they tack it on to the original loan as a second or something like that. But anyway, so here's an example problem. Let's do this. So it says Great Bank offers $100,000 through 30-year 5% fixed rate loan with closing costs of $500 plus 1 point. Big Bank offers a low rate of 4.75% on a 30-year loan, but the Great Bank closing cost is $1,000 plus 2 points. Evaluate the two options. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to do PMT, and we're going to do a $100,000 loan. And we're going to do 0.05 divided by 12. And then we're going to just write out our formula once again. 1 minus 1 plus 0.05 divided by 12 to the power of negative 12 times 30, because it's a 30-year loan. So take a minute, plug that into your calculator. Let's see what you get. Okay, so hopefully you unpause the video and you ended up getting $536.82. So that means for a $100,000 loan, you're going to have to pay $536. So this isn't exactly perfect, but this is a way to think about it now. Now, this doesn't include private mortgage insurance or property taxes or a bunch of other fees that are tacked onto this. I think, geez, I want to say like right now in the current market with, I think interest rates are like 2.5% for a non-jumbo loan. I think you could probably, maybe every $100,000 is about $500 in loan because rates are so good, but that's including a little bit of property taxes and other things. So this number is a little misleading because when you buy a home, you have to normally pay property taxes. You have to pay private mortgage insurance if you don't have 20% down. There's other fees that they roll into here. Fire insurance, homeowners insurance, you know, all this stuff you have to roll into this money. So you, before everything's done on a $100,000 loan, you're probably going to have, you know, $800, you know, or $700 for this $100,000 loan. But let's just kind of go with this. So it's $536.82. Okay. Now let's look at Big Bank. Let's do the same problem. Big Bank is going to be PMT. And this will be 100,000, same problem, right? But they have a better rate. Just a little bit better, right? Divided by 12. All over 1 minus parentheses 1 plus 0.0475 divided by 12 to the negative 12 times 36. Oops, times 30, sorry. Times 30. So pause the video and see what you guys get for this one. Okay, so you unpause and hopefully you got $521.65 if you round off. Okay, so this one's about $15 a month cheaper by doing this, okay? So you will save about $15 a month with Big Bank's lower interest rate, okay? Now we must consider the differences in closing costs. Big Bank charges an extra $500 plus an extra 1.1%, which is $1,000 in loan. Okay, so Big Bank costs an extra $1,500, and they're saying basically for 1 point they normally charge 1% of the loan. So since the loan is a $100,000 loan, to get 1 point, it's going to be $1,000. So Big Bank actually costs an extra $1,500 upfront. We divide this to find the time it will take to recoup our $1,500. So we're going to take $1,500 and divide it by $15 a month, and it's going to take 100 months, which is approximately 8 1/3 years. So in order to get back this money that we're giving Big Bank, it's going to take us 8 1/3 years. Because remember, they're saving us $15 a month, right? However, it's going to take 8 years for us to make up the extra $1,500 we had to give them up front. So unless you're sure you're staying in the house for a much more than 8 years, it is most wise to go with Big Bank. Okay. So Big Bank is 521, and then after 8 years, we start recouping that money. So then it's all gravy after that. We're now saving that extra $1,500 a month. So it doesn't really seem worth it for me personally. This is just a preference. Would you rather save $15 a month, or would you rather have 15 extra $100 in your bank account? It really depends on you know, what you need for your situation. So what I'd like to do is, I don't have it here in the notes, but I'd like to talk to you guys about a car problem, because many of you are going to be buying cars at some point. And I just want to kind of talk to you about the different things you got to worry about when you're buying a car. I bought quite a few cars in my day. Um, I don't know. I just like buying cars. I do a lot of trading in of my cars and buying new cars, and it's just kind of crazy. Let me find. I had a problem in the book that I wanted to go over. It was a pretty good one. No, that's not it. Okay. I think it was this car buying one right here. So there's student loan, there's car. Okay, so you need to buy, let's say you want to buy a $6,000 car, a $6,000 car. So we want a $6,000, I'm assuming this is a used car. Okay, you can't buy a new car for that. Used car. Okay, your bank offers you a 3-year loan. So I'm going to write out the loan terms, 3-year loan at 8%, a 4-year loan at 9%. And this is the way it normally works. The more years on the loan, the more interest they charge you because it's more risk to them. So they want to make more money off of it. And then a 5-year loan at 10%. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to calculate my monthly payment for each one of them. Okay. So this is, and again, this is a personal preference. So what you were going to do is we're going to do 3-year loan. And we know that that's PMT is equal to 6,000 times 0.08 divided by 12, all divided by 1 minus 1 plus 0.08 divided by 12 to the negative 12 times 3, because we're doing a 3-year loan, okay? So why don't you guys pause the video and do that, find that one, then do the 4-year loan. Okay, oops. And then let's do the 5-year loan right here. So pause the video and find these three. And then when you come back, we'll do it and we'll finish it up together to make sure you're in the right spot. Okay, so hopefully you guys have unpaused the video now and you are ready to go on this one. So for the 3-year loan, I end up getting $188.02, right? So it's going to cost me $188 a month for this used car for 36 months, okay? So now we do the same thing over here, but we have a bigger interest rate. But we're going to pay it off over 4 years, okay? So this might help us a little bit. So when you plug this in, you should get $149.31, okay? Now let's do this next one, the 5-year. Again, this is a longer interest rate. I mean, a bigger interest rate. So we're going to do $6,000 at 10% interest divided by 12 all over 1 minus 1 plus 0.08 divided by 12 to the negative 12 times 5. Okay, so when you do this, you should end up getting $127.48. Okay, but now what I want to do is I want to see, you know, how much money they're actually making off of me. So I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. So this would be our monthly payment, right? These are our 3 monthly payments. But now what I want to see is I want to see if I do 188.02 times how many months again? We're going to do times 3 years. Let me see here. But 3 years has 36 months. So we're going to do 36 monthly payments. This one, we're going to do 149.31. And this would be what, 48 months? Because this is a 4-year loan. And this would be 127.48. And this would be times 60 because this is a 5-year loan. So let's plug these into our calculator. This is going to give me $6,768.72. Okay. This one is going to give me $7,166.88. And then this one is going to give me $7,648.80. Okay. So the reason I'm doing this is how much I pay for the entire loan. And again, they're not including tax or anything like that. So there's other fees on top of this that we would also have to pay. Normally you include 10% in whatever the price is to account for tax if you're buying it in California. So this would really be like a $6,600 loan, and then we would do it from there. But whatever, let's just go from here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 6768.72 minus the original 6,000. I'm going to do 7166.88 minus the original 6,000, and I'm going to do 7,648 minus the original 6,000. And I want to see how much interest they're making off of me. So for this first one, it's $768.72. For this one, it would be what? $1,166.88. And for this one, it would be $1,648.80. So they're really making money off of me on that last one. So this is the interest. So this means that this is money that if you had the 6,000, you wouldn't have to pay. So you see this for the 3-year loan, we only paid $768 in interest, which is about a little over 10%, probably like 12%, 13%. This one we paid $1,100 and it's $1,166. And then for the 5-year loan, we paid $1,648.80. Okay, so this one is out of control. Okay, this one is just crazy how much money they're making off of us for interest. However, look at my monthly payment. My monthly payment is $127 and this is $188. Okay, so it really depends on your situation. If you're in the situation where you can afford $188 a month, then you should do that because they're going to make less money off of you. You're only going to pay $768 in interest. Look at this. If we doubled this number, it would still be less than this. So on the 5-year loan, you're paying double in interest than you would on the 3-year loan. Okay, so the 3-year loan is the way to go. But what if you just can't afford $188 a month? What if you need it to be $127? So this is that dilemma where just because you know the math, it says that this is the better idea. This is better to do. However, this might be all you can afford. You might need the lower monthly payment. So a lot of times that's why you see more expensive cars get like 5 and 6 and 7-year loans because you can't afford the monthly payments. Okay. So just kind of figure when you're buying a car, when all is said and done, if you have good credit, you should probably expect about $17 a month. If you do like I think it's a 72-month loan or a 6-year loan, you should probably expect your payment to be about $15 to $17 a month per $1,000. So if you buy a $20,000 car, you should expect your payment to be 20,000 times about 17. So your payment should be about $340 a month. Okay. That's just kind of a rule of thumb that I've learned from buying cars. But these are the actual formulas that you could do to do the loan calculation. Now, again, it's not including tax and it's not including registration fees and other things that they tack on at the end. But just in terms of the dollar amount of the car, this is how you could calculate it. So I just wanted to show you guys this little bit of information about loans, credit cards. I think it's important for people to understand how people or how companies make money off of you. And buying a car especially is something you really have to say, you know, if the dealer says, hey, it's only an extra $17 a month or an extra $20 a month, what they're really saying is where they're charging you an extra $1,000 a month. So if they don't think it's a big deal, then tell them, well, you know what, why don't you just give me $1,000 off the car so then I can save that $20 a month. Okay. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next class.